You know something? He did say well a lot.
Well, welcome to Azee Reviews. We're in the speaker testing arena, which is what I've dubbed this now that I am surrounded. You'll note that there's two new additions facing the correct direction to look at the beauty of them. As the Aperion concert towers. And we've got 4 speaker amplifiers here from 2 different companies sent by 2, 3, or 4 different retailers. And I'm like, I'm not going to do individual reviews for each one of these because we're in such a similar ballpark. To have them all be under $200 and all be speaker amps, and some of them have just the most amazingly weird quirks and shit, we're going to go over it. If you want to skip any of these, timestamps are available below. We will be discussing price, performance, although these 2 are literally identical internals, and then this one's dumb, and this one's sort of dumb also, but we're going to get to it. But there's like different types of dumb. Quickly, the model numbers. SMSL DA-6, $100. SMSL AO-100, $130. SMSL A-300, $196, and the odd man out, the Xduoo DA-100 at $170. Now, depending on what you want, you can jump around and pick one of these. Because I'll make it real quick. Powerhouse, just Bluetooth, probably the ones you're going to look at. That's basically how it comes down to. I guess we'll start with the DA-6 because this showed up a while ago, and I want to point out that I reviewed. I don't want to keep the white paperwork in my way. I reviewed this SH6, this little high-end headphone amplifier. Remember the one that had the weird power plug that you had to have the little green wire and screw it in? Look at the beautiful size. It's so pretty. It's so pretty and small, and the knob is so good. And it had a matching DAC. In fact, there's the matching DAC. What's your model number? SH6? Wait, this is SH6. SU6? So it's SU6, and this is SH6. That's actually powering, well, 3 out of 4 of these. That one we'll get to. And they can stack right on top of the DA. Look at it. Look, this would be the world's smallest fucking stack. It'd be so cute. You'd have the DAC, you'd have a headphone amp, and you'd have a speaker amp. And you know what? That speaker amp is 70 watts per channel at 4 ohm. A lot of these have 4 ohm only, like, notes, and I don't know why. Probably because at 8 ohms they'd have to measure the distortion, and they don't want to do it. Currently demoing everything, by the way, with the Triangle 40th anniversaries. I actually purchased this set, and I may resell them in the yard sales coming up. Haven't decided yet, because I love these damn speakers, but I got bills to pay. I got 5 kids to feed, so we might move on with those. But babies, help me right now. Currently, I have the DA-6 hooked up to my Argon T60s with this wire I made, which comes out the back using mica cables that I did and soldered together. If you want to watch me make this cable for a fucking hour, the second channel has that video. And it's not very interesting, but you can watch me fail and fail and fail and then succeed, and it's great. And I find a nice woman to teach me how to make this weave on YouTube. We will be hooking up to the triangles. I'll probably pause the video at some point. Just you'll hear everyone. I mean, you can't hear them because then I get copyright infringement, and then the video disappears off the internet. So you're gonna have to trust me on a lot of the way this thing sounds. Real quick between these two. So AO-100 and DA-6. I was writing down the specs on my little notebook here because I'm like, all right, I want to be able to reference it real quick. And I was looking, and it's like, all right, 70 watts at 4 ohms, and this one's 70 watts at 4 ohms. Okay, and the 3 surround sound modes, this is 3 surround sound modes, and this is high and low gain, this is high and low gain. They're exactly identical. Almost. There was 1 or 2 changes in, like, the low gain voltage input. Like, it's like 0.3 volts different, but that's, like, it. Like, the total homogeneous distortion plus noise, all that's identical. So there's a $30 difference between the 2 of these. And this one is probably the one you're thinking about buying because it's got Bluetooth added. That does not have Bluetooth. This one uses a power brick, which is on the floor over there, and you have to run a wire up and plug in the transformer. This gets plugged directly into the wall. I prefer that. One less thing that's like a thing with another wire with a thing, so I'm all about that. And what else is the benefit? Oh, this one, I should just say AO-100, has a subwoofer out, which we can actually hook up. Again, we're gonna have to stop this to do things. Oh, the speaker wires I'm using, by the way, in case you are unaware, Periapt now makes speaker cables. So here is a Periapt branded deluxe 14 gauge speaker wire. Ooh, with the kinds of tips that look like syringe needles. We'll plug this in here so that we can test the subwoofer out, which the subwoofer that we're going to be using will be the Martin Logan Dynamo 400, which is currently sleeping behind the curtain there. So I'm going to get lots of fingerprints on this. World's best cables here, Periapt cables here, Bluetooth antenna. It has 2 RCA subwoofer outs. Don't let that fool you. That isn't like, oh, it's got 2.2. No, it's just put. That's always good when you hear that. They just put 2 RCAs. They didn't want to bother cutting it down to 1. Real fucking basic. Signal in, 2 subwoofer outs, pick one or both. Bluetooth antenna, little miniature 5-way binding posts. Really nice Periapt cables. You could also get them wrapped, by the way. I have an affiliate link now for Periapt cables, so I'm going to use the shit out of them. But yeah, so we've got either the world's smallest speaker amp besides like a Leapi. Like, this is fucking adorable. How small this is. Like, it's like just I lost my speaker amp because I put a smaller than a full-size sheet of paper down on it and it disappeared into the ether. And as far as performance goes for headphones, these are using those German Infineon drivers, which have been like the gold standard, like the minimum. It's like Kerrygold butter. For those of you who use like Breakstone butter, get the fuck out of my channel and go get some Kerrygold, because that is the minimum butter. And like the Infineon chips, once those came out and I listened to them, it's like, wow, everything sounds amazing. That's what Kerrygold butter is. And then you can only go up from there to very fancy French butters and shit, which I like that Insignia. I'll link link the fancy motherfucking cultured French butter that's $16 a pound that you like to buy occasionally when you feel fancy, if I can find it. So the reason you'd want to buy the DA6 and not this is you want the smallest form factor fuck you amp that's ever existed. It's also sexier. Like, I'm going to peel this off here because I've been saving it for you guys. And I've said this about multiple companies like SMSL and Topping, is I feel like they have multiple factories and multiple design teams and they just have no cohesion between any of it, which is because that's an SMSL, that's an SMSL, and that's an SMSL. And even though these two share basically the same internals, that one's just metal box, plastic glass-ish face knob, and this one is fucking aluminum and like knurled knob, and oh, it clicks so good compared to like, this is okay, but this one feels just so much better. And then this one is like tin box, but it's got a jog shuttle. For those of you who remember laser discs, jog shuttles is just like, I don't know if you can even see it. It's like a flat, it's completely flat with the surface and there's just this little divot. And you know what? I haven't touched a jog shuttle. Like, professional video editing equipment has jog shuttles. It's too fast for the amount of power this has. This should be much, much slower. But oh my god, I just love cranking one out over here. And 3 buttons. Like, this doesn't, nothing here makes sense. Then Xduoo is doing its own thing with the gray and the red and the brighter screen. Also, we go from like a beautifully white LEDs on the DA6 to like slightly more bluish on the A-100, and then motherfucking fuck you blue on the A300, which is the powerhouse one. Don't know why. Fuck that color scheme. I know this matches up, since this is the A-100, with the DO and HO-100, which are actually in August's mega yard sale. So I have them upstairs. I just bring them down and put them on top. But you get the point. Same form factor as those. This, same form factor as the smaller ones, which I never imagined selling these. Because look at the size of them. They're just, and they're so well made. Like the machining around the, this is like their premier line. This is like, oh, what the fuck am I thinking of? Like MacBooks. It's like, oh, it's the fancy one. It's like $2,000, but they're cheap as shit. And they're so fucking nice. I would take this one because of just the form factor of it if I don't need Bluetooth. However, this one, Bluetooth and subwoofer outs. And you don't need to have a power brick sitting around. So it's looking more comparable. I'm going to continue on these for a second because there's something very specific I have to talk about. We should be ready to play more Ronald Reagan. By the way, all three of these use the exact same remote, the RC8A, so I only have batteries in one of them, which is fun because I get to control them both at the same time. Power, menu settings, volume is separately down here. You have a mute. Look, all three of them are blinking. Isn't this fun? You have a function, and then input, and then I think all three will... See, up and down doesn't do anything. Left and right also doesn't do anything unless you're in the menu, but volume... There. Now we can have them all synchronously go up and down. My job's fun occasionally. I gotta watch out because I'm actually playing the headphones on this one and not this one. So I'm not gonna bother putting the headphones on that because this is the same thing. Quickly run through the menus. We could run through on this one or this one. It makes no difference. You press the button. This one actually has one extra feature. It says L in for line in or BT for Bluetooth. This is immediately to the effects and the surround and then to the backlight. I'm sorry, the bass. It says bass, then treble, and then gain low or gain high, and then backlight, which that's the lowest it goes. That shit turns into a nightlight. That is the brightest fucking white LEDs. I have it on 1. And then our volume, which goes, I think, -60 to 0. That's another thing. -60 to 0, -60 to 0, 0 to 60. That fucking stuffed, like, lemur, what the, why? Who? Why? Okay, ignore you for a second. In fact, I'm going to turn you off for a second. I thought I turned you off. I'm apparently resetting you? What are you doing? That's weird. All right, let's try power. Okay, power seems to work. Settings, line in or Bluetooth. Then you have E. It has E0, ET, E1, E2, E3, E4, E5. These are all equalization curves, and it goes pippity-pop in the speakers, and I don't know why it does that. E0 is direct. ET is tone control, so if you go and adjust the bass treble, it immediately moves to ET. Then you have other settings in there that are... Hold on. Like bass, super bass, clear, those sorts of things. You're probably not going to play with them. They do affect the way it sounds, and I don't like most of it. So I usually leave it on E0, just direct, especially for if I'm doing reviews. However, there is the setting, the reason I'm getting to it, because this is going to be its own fucking part in this video, is SU0, 1, 2, and 3. How do I put this? You know the X bass button, the magic button on the IFI Zendac and Zencan that makes the bass like, holy shit, I want this on and everything. That, but for speakers. And actually it'll be more in tune with the 3D button that's on those same devices, because it isn't a bass boost. It is a surround effect. And I was able to actually analyze it with the headphones, because I got the headphones hooked up to that one, and they're the same exact effect. And it's just different levels of it. S0 means no effect. And the speakers sound like $2,500 beautiful speakers. They just play their music. And then you put on SU1, and you're like, okay, this is nice. What is happening here? SU2 is like, holy fuck, you're like, the sound now moves from there to like here. And then SU3 is so powerful, you can't listen to it. It's doing some sort of wild fucking apparition shit where the sound is now not distorted, but like weird as fuck. And I find myself, as a purist, as an audio purist, as much as I don't want to put an EQ and I'll only room correct if absolutely necessary, just give me the purest things. I want to fuck with this. I want to fuck with the surround modes on these two amplifiers. This one doesn't have it. This bigger one that from different blues and shit doesn't have it. These two have it. And I don't know how to tell you to not use, like, equalization. Don't use it. Use direct. Whatever. Fine. Be fine. You could do a bass and treble adjustment, maybe, but don't put the EQ on. But the surround effect on these two fucking amplifiers, I put a star next to it because it's like, that's the feature. This whole video could be just about the fucking surround effect that these two are pulling off. Because no matter how high-end your amplifier goes or how much you love your speakers, whatever this thing is doing to twist the sound, and I originally did it upstairs when I saw the Aperions up there, and I was like, in the giant echo chamber, but I could still tell what it was doing. And it was like, oh, actually, in fact, I was running this little baby amp on the smaller version of those towers right before this thing clipped and went, ah! And I was like, okay, I was pushing it too hard. There's a limit. Don't find that limit on $3,000 speakers. But yeah, here, let me see if I can get something playing without getting a copyright strike or something blocked. Oh, the Joker soundtrack, that'll be fine. Rage Against the Machine, Demolition Man, Coldplay's Atlas from the Hunger Games. Oh. Perfect. Filter. Goddamn me. So you think I can play 3 seconds of filter over and over again? Or you think they're gonna yell at me? All right, perfect. That start. We're gonna go in here, we'll go past the line, go past effect, SU1. It's like it moves already, and it's already out of the menu. There's no fucking way to keep the menu there longer, so you can play with it. It's like, oh, you done with that? Okay, we're deleting it. And it's like it just moved it like to my nose. Like I don't know what the hell that feeling is, but it's like, oh, it doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound like there's more bass or treble. It's delaying certain frequencies, I think. So when you play it back over and over again, it sounds more literally more 3D. It sounds like it's trying to be inside you now. So now if we keep going to the 2, 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 3, you have 3 seconds. Hope you fixed your setting in 3 seconds. Now it almost sounds like the speakers are out of phase with each other because it's just the sounds like popped out onto your lap. If I was going to demo this to somebody, I would do it with 2. 1 is like a very, very delicate, like, ooh, is something happening that I like? I think something's happening that I like. 2 is like the full. The 2 makes these speakers sound better. These are $2,500 speakers, amazing speakers, speakers I paid for. When they're like, hey, you want to keep them? Just give us some money. And I'm like, fine. But yet, the fucking $100 or $130 amplifier, because remember, they're the same internals, except for the subwoofer, somehow that makes the speaker sound better. Like if I was using this permanently on my desk, like my review, like the desk where I'm gonna have fun, I would honestly put on surround 1 at least. It's just like the X-Bass button. And it's not on every SMSL fucking amp, so I don't know why it's like, why here and not here? And where, how do I get this? What are you doing? Give it to me. Why is it buried in the menu? Why is this the biggest fucking bullet point? Because it's doing some wild shit. Let's go to the last one. 1, 2, 3, buckle your schnee. I now just sound like there's speakers inside me, and I don't like that at all. That's just going just too far. Yeah, it's like the sound slid here, and it's like, oh god. But you know, that alone makes me want to tell you to buy either one of these. This one's so small you could lose it. That's a back pocket amplifier. You'd have to have the power brick, unfortunately, in your other back pocket. This one, you don't need a power brick, so you could actually probably take this one on its own. And it's got Bluetooth, so just like boom, 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 boom. Weigh your opinions. Which one do you want? They both have the exact same power, the exact same features, except for Bluetooth, subwoofer out, and the power, Bluetooth, subwoofer out, and the power brick is separate. But anyway, I'm fucking enamored by that goddamn surround mode because it legitimately changes things, but doesn't change the tonality of anything. It just changes the placement. And I would just keep talking about that forever and ever and ever. Wait, did I turn it off or did I set it to what's it called? Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on 1. Just leave it on 1. Just 1. Oh, by the way, the backlight level on this I think is surround. I touch bass. That's B is bass and then T is treble. As soon as you touch it and the gain is on high, I should actually put the gain on low. I'll explain and there's a backlight level. That also gets very fucking bright. This has 8 levels of brightness. That only had 5, I think. Gain high and low is not for like I have hard to drive speakers, put it on high gain. Gain high and low, specifically in the manual, states it's for different line voltages. So your RCA voltage, if your RCA voltage is a little weak, coming off a turntable preamp or something, you set it to high gain to compensate for that. Otherwise, we're using full end, actual DAC equipment down there. Just run it at low gain, You can put it to high gain. You don't have to put it to high gain. Don't think you're missing out if you're not putting on high gain. It's running these speakers just fine. There's actually enough headroom for these. I fucking love that surround mode. Star Wars, yeah, there's a copyright strike. And there's the low end of these triangles, by the way, coming in. Oh, well, wait, no. There's the low end of these triangles. We have a subwoofer out. So that's probably helping. I don't believe... Hold on, let me see if I can get this to happen while it's playing. I'm trying to do a thing. Yeah, there was a lot of sub. There was a lot of sub added onto that. But this doesn't do anything when you plug a subwoofer into it. It's two type of amplifiers. Amplifier, plug it in, subwoofer does something when you plug it in, and this is not one of those. This just takes whatever you're playing and gives it to the sub, and you deal with the sub. This one, which we're moving over to now, Scoozy, which I will be plugging that into this in a minute, or maybe later. Wait. We need some 80s ballads. Tim Capello's I Still Believe. So now we're on this one. Now we're on the A300. And I had to move the speaker wires over, so I stopped the camera. This one has actual features. It doesn't have the surround modes that those have, but we're talking power, more power. Where these claim 70 watts per channel into 4 ohms, where usually 8 ohms means less than that, sometimes half as much as that. This one claims at 8 ohms, 85 watts a channel, which if we talk counter and distortion, maybe you get 60 really clean watts out of it. But then again, if you're using a 4 ohm speaker, which I actually do have, those fucking Pyrean towers are 4 ohms, 165 watts, which means you're probably getting 120 watts cleanly. And then, because no one asked it, they make it a monoblock. You can just go through the menu and make it a monoblock. And then turn it into a goddamn monoblock. For under $400, you can get 2 of these, and they claim 330 watts per channel, anywhere from 4 to 8 ohm. It says it on the manual. Oh, you have a 4 ohm speaker, 330 watts channel. You have an 8 ohm speaker, 330 watts channel. And then the distortion they don't list anywhere. So I'm assuming there's going to be distortion above, let's say, 220 watts a channel. Holy fuck! Regardless of that, under $400 for a pair of these, which the build quality is the lessest of all 3. This is the one that's like, it feels like someone put it together. Like they had to save money somewhere. So the actual case is just steel. The fascia is still nice, but the blue is bad. All use the same remote. Hold on, I want to jump ahead. Now I have the subwoofer plugged into this now. The one over there, the Dynamo 400. And the difference between the subwoofer out on this unit and the subwoofer out on this unit is, this one, when you plug the subwoofer in, it doesn't do anything to the speakers. The speakers are just doing their own thing normally, and then you go and you adjust the sub to sort of match it. But what this one will actually do, it as a high pass filter. So we go through the menu, which I should show you the fascia of this. Can I talk about jog shuttles for a bit more? I just love fucking jog shuttles. Oh, God. Underrated as hell. Everyone needs a jog shuttle in their life. Power button, check this out. Watch. You see that? I hit the power button. Just pressed it, and it powered off. No hold for 2 seconds. No hold and hold. Nothing in the back. It's just you push it, and it turns on and off. You're probably considering buying this now just because of that. Function is input, which this unit has input 1 RCA, input 2 RCA, Bluetooth input, and USB input. You can actually plug this straight in. It's a weird fuck off USB-A. Why SMSL? Why you do this? In fact, I should probably check the box to make sure there's a USB-A to USB-A cable. I guess you would plug that into a USB-C cable, then plug USB-C into your computer. Because it's one of the, this is a fucking throwback machine, man. I've been doing this channel for like 9 years. And old SMSL shit used to have fucking USB-A as your input. And it's not like it's gonna read a USB key. That's not what that's for. It's not what that's for. That is, I fucked up my temporary table coverings. So yeah, you get 4 inputs. 2 analogs, a Bluetooth, and a fucking USB. So if you wanna plug it in to your tablet, or your phone, or a laptop, you can just do that and not have to do anything else. Power plug straight into the back. You have a main power bus switch here. For some reason, the old school red and black connectors, instead of the nice clear ones, they are bigger, but these are like surround receiver plugs, and I know, again, different factories must be making these things differently. Here's your Bluetooth antenna, your weird USB. This RCA here is specifically for when you're using it as a monoblock, which is these two terminals, and then you have your RCA1 and RCA2 inputs, and here's our subwoofer out. Now, when you plug the subwoofer in, that's what it enables, the subwoofer out. However, you can go through the menu, which we'll go through real quick. E is effects. You get up to 7, so it's, and they're not labeled. Like, you have to go to the manual to know that this is tone, and this is SBD, and this is bass and super bass and S bass and all the old school ones. This is treble and bass, and if you touch any of these and they go back around, E is now 1 because that's tone. So if you want to leave it on direct, do not touch. Wait a second, I just put that, hold on, E0, which should be direct. I'm gonna put the tone down to -6. I'm doing a test, hold on. It's on E1. I don't want it, I want direct. I'm gonna hold down the menu button to get out of it. Go back to the menu. E0 is direct. Menu. How does it have the bass at 6? I guess you could set the bass and treble, and it just won't enable it if you have it set to E0. But if you change it again, then it goes back to tone controls. Fucking. So then you have BL, which is the backlight, which is blue, which you only have 3 levels, and then guess what? They're all still fucking blue. How about purple? These two are white. I don't mind white 8-segment displays, even if this one's slightly bluer than that one. But not blue, like blue. This is blue. I don't want blue. BR is 0. Don't fuck with that. That turns it into monoblock mode. Literally, it's like, hey, you're in monoblock mode, and then you're not. I don't know why it's BR. And here's your HF equals 1. Now, because we have the subwoofer plugged in, it turned to 1. It can detect that. And that means these speakers are no longer getting anything below 100 hertz. So the benefit of a subwoofer is supposed to be the subwoofer takes over all the low end duty with its own fucking drivers and speakers and amplifiers. And then these speakers are now freed up and don't have to do the big movements. They can just do the 100 hertz and up movements, which means you can do them louder. Less of this amplifier's power is going towards bass because that's where all the power goes. So that means you could play these speakers louder now and have the subwoofer just keep up on its own. That's the real benefit of a subwoofer. Very few amplifiers nowadays have that option. And you have that option in here. If you wanted to go and put the bass back with the subwoofer, you can do that. I have so many remotes right now. Back to Tim Capello's, I still believe. Oh, I changed the input, didn't I? There we go. All right, one of the things I was discussing at the very beginning is how fast this fucking volume knob is. So I'm all the way here. I'm at 9 o'clock. I'm gonna go to 3 o'clock. 22. Then I'll go back to 9 o'clock. And it blows up. One full rotation goes from 0 to 44 out of 60. On an amplifier that is the most powerful amplifier on the desk. These are just gentleman's knobs. This is the nicest fucking little tiny knob. I love it. This knob we'll get to is nice. It's okay. It doesn't. I love jog shuttles. Make it about 1/3 as fast. I want to use the jog shuttle. I want to do this. I want to give it the old nipple twist. What was it called? Purple nurple. I want a purple nurple. I want to go. It's so fast. And as long as you can put your hand on it and you have full control, you can go as gently as you want and you can just tick it up one at a time beautifully. But if you want to go fast, it's like, I don't want too far. Also, there's zero indicator. Well, there's an indicator, but it's like you got to find that thing in the dark. I wish I colored it in a little bit. I can't keep playing music. Go back to the menu. Back through to black level to BR to HF1. If I set it to HF0, and you could hold menu to get out of it quickly, by the way, because it takes about 9 seconds to reset versus these. Now, these are $2,500 speakers. These speakers probably don't need a sub, and they certainly don't need to be cut off at 100 hertz. So that, unfortunately, that frequency is locked. You can only take 100 hertz and above or nothing. So by putting the bass back into this, now we're getting it down. These are probably doing 48 hertz or something really low because these speakers, again, are amazing. So they sound more full. But if you have little shit speakers, you want to definitely turn this on. You want to don't bring any bass to your shit speaker party. push it off to the subwoofer. If I wanted to have a party, if I was throwing a party and for some reason I had this amplifier and these speakers, I would definitely put that on, because even though these sound better getting down to like the 50s and 60s, I don't want to blow them up. And that would be a great way to protect them. Let's try it. Ruby, Handmaiden Tale. God, these speakers sound good. And by association, this fucking amplifier sounds good. Because right now, I haven't... We'll get to the Xduoo next, but Infineon drivers, even if they're only 70 watts at 4 ohms, Infineon drivers. Remember the butter analogy. So now we've got more power and still butter. I believe these are also Infineon drivers, and if they're not, whatever this has, regardless of not having the surround sound modes,
the boss ain't here, he got none.
This is clean. This is some clean ass shit, which is probably not the way that a professional reviewer on the internet should say things, but fuck it. I'll put it on hold.
Oh wow. Say that vanity.
Yeah, no, I made it to the 100 hertz cutoff, and there's definitely not as much there. But if I go back and raise the volume to like, hey, has Bob Dylan ever killed anyone?
Got the best of him.
Yes, Bob Dylan has killed somebody. He killed me today. Apocalypse Now. Ooh, that's a good soundtrack. Ennio Morricone. Always good. Tron Uprising. Rat-tat-tat. See, here's the thing. That subwoofer for Rat-tat-tat is taking over. Now, I haven't gone back there and adjusted individually for each fucking amplifier that can use it. But it's there, and I could tell it's there because it's hitting those low notes really good. And if I tweaked that to match these and took this off at 100 like I just did, it would sound fucking great. I'm gonna go back though. No BRs. I'm gonna shut off the high frequency cutoff so that these got full range again. Yeah, these are... If you have amazing speakers, you probably don't need a subwoofer mixed in and this sort of thing. If you have $2,500 speakers, honestly, I was going to tell you you shouldn't be buying a $200 amplifier. But why wouldn't you? These sound fucking amazing. I can't play AC/DC. That is an immediate worldwide block. And it's not AC/DC's fault. It's the lawyers that represent AC/DC and whoever's making money off of that shit. So, this thing is the shittily built powerhouse. I don't, like, it's got holes in it. It's got a couple holes in it for, like, some air movement. And the weirdest back, but that's, if you need the power, you get this. If you want the subwoofer control, you get this. These have Bluetooth. This has Bluetooth. That does not have Bluetooth. That one's just adorable. Let's just get to the fucking, this one. Fucks my phone. Give me this thing. Because I'm not going to... I could pair my Bluetooth to it, actually. No, because I want to be direct. So let's look at the back of this, and let's shut this off using a single press of a power button, which is, on modern equipment is fucking rare. Nice. Let's unplug these beautiful Periopt cables with the link in the description. And these are also very old. See, I think this is Xduoo's first speaker amp. Like, they've made a ton of headphone amps, but I don't think they've made a lot of speaker amps. So this thing here, it's using like part spin stuff that I've not seen in a while. They're not bad connectors, they're just old school. Now, my sticker that you can get at the merch store at zboombox.com. Power transformer. This is one of the only 2 transformers. The little tiny one over there has it, and this one has it. So these have direct plugs into the wall, and I like that. But at the same time, if anything goes wrong with the power supply side of it, the unit's dead. If something goes wrong with the power supply on the floor, you buy another power supply, and the unit still lives. It's up to you. Bluetooth antenna, USB-C input, and then your terminals, and that's it. That's literally it. So I plugged in this cable. This cable did not come with the amplifier. It's very fucking stiff. This is like a 7 mil cable. I'm gonna go, I have music playing already, excellent. So now it's hooked up, it says PCM 48 kilohertz. Your volume knob is here. It's also a push button, which doesn't do anything when you're USB'd. If you're Bluetoothed into this and you wanna use the USB, you have to disconnect the Bluetooth. The USB doesn't supersede the Bluetooth. This is specifically a Bluetooth amplifier. The fact that it gives you USB is like a bonus. It's just harder for me to demo Bluetooth than USB. So this puts it in a very strange category of like, hey Zeos, I need an amp that I could Bluetooth to, and nothing else. So I mean, the fact that it has a USB cable is great, and we can use it, and it has a DAC built into it, and Xduoo is known for their like portable DAC amps, so it's not like it's gonna be a pile of shit. Now, two things. Number one, it's definitely not Infineon drivers. It sounds slightly less magical. Now, these are great speakers, but the amps matter. Second thing, this is the least powerful on the desk because it's also rated at 4 ohms, 50 watts. This is rated at 70 watts. This is rated at 70 watts, but Infineon 70 watts. I'm at 80 out of 100, and I've taken this to 100 on a quiet song, and it's I can tell it just doesn't wanna. It doesn't wanna. Well, I got a copyright claim for Banks. What is this? This is Banks Soundtech Steel Orchestra. I was looking for steel drums because I've experienced steel drums in person, like a Sesame Place or some shit, and it's always like, holy fuck, that sounds amazing. Where are the audiophile recordings of steel drums? And so I went on a hunt on the internet to purchase a steel drum album, and the only one I was able to purchase for free was Christmas songs. Steel Drum Christmas. So if you're ever in the neighborhood and you hear Steel Drum Christmas, you're near Zeos' house. Because you bet your ass I play Steel Drum Christmas. It's not even well recorded either. It's just like okay recorded. I wanted like steel drums with like someone doing a binaural recording of it, but I couldn't find it. Anyway, off of the steel drums. That's definitely gonna get me pulled off the internet. If this video ever goes like mute for a little bit, that's probably what happened. So it's the least powerful. It has the least functionality. It does support LDAC. In fact, here are the few things we've got. 50 watts at 4 ohms, USB, Bluetooth LDAC. None of these say LDAC. They all say Bluetooth 5. That doesn't mean LDAC. This does LDAC. No RCAs, which is the bullet point on this, because it's like, well, you're not giving me an analog input. It's not really an amplifier. It has a headphone out in front. Here's the shit kicker. And this is, I'm gonna pull out my favorite headphones of all fucking time. In case you didn't see the review of the Neumann NDH30s. I'm pulling out my favorite headphones of all time, and I'm gonna plug them in, 1/4 inch in the front. We're gonna go like boom. We're gonna lower the volume a little bit, and we're gonna hit play. Oh wait, we're gonna hit play. We're gonna hit play on Flying Anonymous. Huh. These headphones sound... Battery death kills more robot sentient beings than any other death. The headphone plug in the front doesn't turn off the speakers in the back. That's not just an oversight. That makes the headphone in front useless. It's only a 1/4 watt at 32 ohms also, because they actually list the specs for it. But the only way to actually truly listen to only the headphones is to unplug your speakers, and then you can. That's not how that's supposed to work. It's supposed to be the other way around. It's supposed to be like, oh, you want to hear speakers? Unplug your headphones. Oh, you want to hear headphones? Plug it in, and it cuts off your speakers. I shouldn't have to do that. So the 1/4 inch in front is useless. It's weak, but here's the thing, it doesn't sound bad. As much as this is not an Infineon drivered unit, Xduoo knows how to power headphones. This is their jam, baby. So maybe with speaker amps, they're not quite up to snuff yet with topping and SMSL. I've been making this shit for years. But this still sounds good. It could also be the fact that I'm using just the greatest headphones made in the world. But I don't see this as being the reason anyone's buying it. Oh, it's got a headphone out in the front. Yeah, it's got a headphone out in the front, and it's got no RCAs, and it's got no remote. That's another thing. Remote, no remote. I might sell this to a friend. I might not even put this in the yard sale because he's got like old theater setup. And he's like, I just need something that I could Bluetooth to and has AM FM. And I'm like, well, this doesn't have AM FM. Another thing that I like about this though, because I don't want to just shit on it. Number one, the case is right up there with one of the nicest on the table. Like, look at this. Look at this, the grooves in the side. And the divot here. Did it need a divot there? No. Does it have a not even like a matching divot. The divots are fucking offset from each other. We've got character and style and exposed bolts. And the red knob pushes in. And you know what that does? That turns it on and off or plays and pauses it when you Bluetooth to it. When you Bluetooth to it, the screen itself tells you the song that's playing. That's a thing Bluetooth can do. You want me to get angry? Why doesn't everything that's got Bluetooth, BTR7, tell me the fucking song that's playing? Because this can do it. Other Xduoo devices can do it. Little tiny ones you used to connect to, like, oh, Bluetooth. Can read the fucking song information via Bluetooth. That would be super helpful on a bunch of shit. It'd be helpful on this. Again, though, here's a problem. You can play and pause if we... All right, I'll fucking do it. Fine. You want to watch me fucking... I'll unplug this. We're going to go pair a new device. DA-100. I haven't paired it with this phone. I paired it with something else. But I'll pair it with this fucking phone. Pair it. Are we paired? Great, we're paired for media. Is that darkness? Darkness. Put something on, you fucking... Where are we? We're going to go back to this. We're going to go back to this. Fate of Man by Nakagawa Koruro. Fate of Man. Is he going to send me anything else? Connected with LDAC. 96K. Bluetooth. Volume 82. I gotta raise the volume here. Oh, I raised the volume there. So it tells me Fate of Man. And you know what? How the fuck is it even doing it? Because I'm playing this off the Telegram player. This is the Telegram internal fucking media player. Eternal Blaze. Loading. Von, Feet Arnur, is it gonna, Ardan, okay. Feet Arnur Dan, so it's actually, it's not doing a scroll. So I can play and pause with this button, but I'm not sure, no. Oh, Xduoo, your old problems haunt me. What's the fucking point, Xduoo, of a Bluetooth-centric fucking amplifier that when I Bluetooth to it, it tells me the name of the song, and I have a button to play and pause, but I have no way to next track? This is not the first time they've done this. This is not the first time they've done this. They give me the ability to play and pause. They read me the title so that I could have this phone in the fucking back of my couch, and I could see what's playing, and I could pause it, but I can't say next. I still like the way it looks. Anyway, that was the fucking 4 of these. Real quick, do I think you should get one of these for like T60 argons? It doesn't hurt. They certainly power it. I'm a little bit fucked now because I've got the A90 discrete on the desk back there, but it's $600. So everyone's gonna be like, ah. And this is a good cheap way to get $100 to plug this in. By the way, when I plugged it in, it made poppy noises in there, so you might want to turn it off before you plug everything in. This is... That's the thing about the Infineon drivers too, is they're so close to the, there's no noise floor that they could actually be used as a headphone amp. We're at 15 below 0, and we're rocking the T60 argons. Better than most amps do the T60 argons, put it that way. That might have been a slightly distorted sound, not sure. Because you got to keep in mind another thing, we're using a digital amplifier. I'm pausing it like I'm pausing it over there. We're using a digital amplifier, and these are 50 ohms. So it's looking for a speaker that's between, 4 and 8 or 10 ohms. So presenting it with a 50 ohm load could make it do weird things. So just a public service announcement. I enjoy doing this shit. I get paid to do this shit. And if something blows up, I could usually contact someone and get it fixed. If you're plugged into a speaker amp and it doesn't like the way the load is presenting, you may have problems. So caution with this shit. But at the same time, I do enjoy plugging these headphones into random speaker amps. I still haven't plugged them into the Star Crimsons. It's going to rain. So yeah, I'm done. SMSL, you're doing fantastic work depending on who you're looking at and where you're looking at it. This thing is so fucking cute and adorable and small, and it's so cheap, I'll probably never sell it in a yard sale. I can like pull it out of my fucking pocket and be like, oh, here's a 70 watt per channel amplifier. Boom. And then this one, oh man, I would have added it to the yard sale, to the mega yard sale, because then you would have had the full stack. The DO, the HO, and the AO in black. Just, So if you have the DO or the HO, there's the fucking AO. AO! Get the AO. It's that, but a little bit more convenient. You got the subwoofer out, got the Bluetooth, and you got the power in there. Same sound. This one's the hardest choice because it's like these are built beautifully and they're the right size and just enough power. You need if you have 530s on your desk, Studio 530s, this will probably be your baby. Because those things are around 6 ohms. I don't think they're the little version of those. This is more powerhouse. And if you really if you get one and you like the way it sounds and you could handle the way it works, get 2. I feel like the real magic of this, and the reason it's cheap, is so that you could buy fucking 2 of them and monoblock it and get absurd power. I can't monoblock. I'll probably keep it around in case someone else is like, hey, we're going to send you the A300. I'm like, cool. This thing has features I like. Luckily, the remote control functions, and the jog shuttle. And then the Xduoo is just like, why? There's so many whys and lackluster things about it that it's going to get like a meh. It's getting a meh. I like Xduoo. I really do. 604 is amazing. I just reviewed that fucking XA10, the $500, headphone amp DAC fucking combo. Beautiful thing. 4 watts a channel. I guarantee you some of what's in here is in that, but this is just trying too hard. It's trying too hard at 50 watts. So, links to all of these. I think these 2 might have been APOS. Those 2 are Aoshida and Shenzhen. Over there. Thank you to Triangle for selling me their triangles, and I will link to those wherever the hell you could buy them, because you can't buy them from like Amazon, because God forbid nice things come from Amazon. I'm linking to these just because they're going to be out of I want to make these out of stock. No one should be able to buy the Neumann NDH30s. They're too good. Link to the Argons. That wallpaper is in the wallpaper horde on Roselio Sync, which you get every wallpaper I've ever used ever, or there'll be a code there. I figured I had to put a really nice one because we're using so many fucking devices. And you probably stuck around for what, 55 fucking minutes for this? For this? For this, Zeos? Yes, for this. Anyway, I gotta go clean up because now I've made a goddamn disaster piece down there. Yeah. What does this mean for the world? Cheap amps are good now. And it's just a matter of balancing features and power and lacking features. But Xduoo, keep trying, baby. I love you guys. You make amazing shit. Give me revision 2 of this. I actually have a Bluetooth receiver, just a receiver, that costs more than this, that's bigger, sitting back there. I gotta know. I gots to know. I gotta know what that does. So maybe I'll hook that up next. Anyway, I'm Zeospantera of Z Reviews. See reviews early, participate in yard sales, and listen to lossless sound demos for $5 a month on my Patreon or Subscribe Star. For $10 a month, you get to come into a private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where you can ask me questions directly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, although I won't answer them right away. Fuck you, I'm sleeping. But you also, if you're in that, you get to hang out with a bunch of people who are crazy like me, and you get into a private behind-the-scenes swap meet, which is only for patrons in that tier, and that's a lifetime. You don't get kicked out of that. And then don't forget to check out the Hi-Fi Guide forums. And Hi-Fi Guides hasn't been updated in a long while, and I stream twice a week. So check those out on Twitch. And the second channel's got things, and I don't fucking know. It's gonna rain. And I gotta go take care of that. Wait, which one's gonna play music if I turn it on? Oh, I unpaired it. I unpaired it because I double-clicked the button, and that's how you unpair the thing.